Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Gravois. Football season is right around the corner. That's right. We are in the middle of July, and all of our high schools, our colleges locally, obviously Nicholls State, is starting to get back to work just a little bit on preparation for the upcoming season. Certainly, we've talked about the Saints schedule, about the LSU schedule. We want to delve a little bit as we get closer and closer to the high school schedule on who is playing who this upcoming year. And we're going to do that by going by district, or I should say by classification. First, we're going to start it off with 5A football. 5A football in our area has 4 schools that we keep a keen eye on. And folks, that is not in any necessary order. It is in alphabetical order. So please don't think we put a particular school first in the order here. It all is related to where you fit alphabetically. And we'll talk about Central Lafourche first. Central Lafourche last year, 3 wins on the season. We thought early on Central Lafourche sort of found something, and I think they did. I think they play in a district that is just so tough, that being 7-5A, that it was hard to get wins later in the season. But early on, they showed that they made some strides and that they were improved, and they were extremely young. This year, they open up week 1. And for you guys who are wondering, when is week 1? That is the first week of September. So if you want to start marking on your calendar exactly when high school football gets underway, the week before the end of September is Jamborees. The first week of September, that first Friday, that's when they start playing the regular season game. And there you see it. Central Lafourche is going to be at Vanderbilt Catholic. Then they're going to be at home against New Iberia High School, traditionally a pretty good football program, but they've been up and down the last few years. And their big game last year, the game that sort of really set Central Lafourche off to finding something, was against South Lafourche. This year, it's not going to be at home. They got to go on the road to take on South Lafourche. Then you see it's Thibodaux. So, man, 2 big rival games back to back. They have Central Catholic in there, and Central Catholic really gave them a tough time last year. East St. John, Hahnville, and Destrehan back-to-back. That's never easy. And they finish it off coming to Houma twice to Tom B. Smith. One of those games is against H.L. Bourgeois, the other against Terrebonne High School. So if you are a fan of the Trojans, that's what your 2025 football schedule looks like. Let's move on down to H.L. Bourgeois. H.L. Bourgeois got into the playoffs last year, and they actually they actually gave Hahnville all they can handle in the first round of the playoffs. This year, it's a game at Ascension Christian in Donaldsonville to start the year. The Braves lost that one last year. I think if they get a win there, it might set them off in the right way. They then take on Assumption. Last year, the Braves beat Assumption, and that set them off the right way. Let's see what happens early in this year. Then they also take on Central Catholic. That game going to be played in Morgan City. And they travel on to Patterson. Patterson has a new coaching staff there, so we'll see how that works. And then they get into district play. Man, and they start off district with Hahnville and then Destrehan. That's never easy. And then to top it off, you got to play Thibodaux under their new coaching regime. You have Terrebonne, Central Lafourche, and at East St. John. And I think East St. John's going to be a lot better than last year. So there is your H.L. Bourgeois schedule for the upcoming year. Then you have the Terrebonne Tigers. Terrebonne finished 8-2 last year. A terrific year. They get in the playoffs, and unfortunately, they are surprised in the first round by Chalmette, and they are knocked out in the first round, which nobody expected. On top of that, that game was played here in Houma at Tom B. Smith. This year, the Tigers will be on the road to start the year. They're going to be at Riverside Academy. That's never going to be easy. But Riverside Academy, only a single-A school. We'll see if the Tigers can go up there and take care of business. Then it's Ellender. Remember, that game wasn't even played last year. Ellender actually had to forfeit that game to Terrebonne last year. Then it's St. James. Woo, that's tough. Then it's Hahnville. That's tough. Fortunately for Terrebonne, those are going to be played at home. Then they travel to Destrehan. Then they take on St. Charles Catholic. So that gauntlet right there, those 4 games, St. James, Hahnville, Destrehan, and St. Charles Catholic, are going to be the test for Terrebonne High. Terrebonne already has 5 kids on their football team that are committed to play football at the next level, at the collegiate level. So they have the talent there. Let's see if they can put it all together. They have a very tough schedule. You see the last 4 games, they'll be at East St. John. Never easy because East St. John always has athletic talent. Then you got H.L. Bourgeois, which is a huge, huge rival game. Then you got Thibodaux High, and then it all finishes off with Central Lafourche. So if you're a Terrebonne Tiger fan, there's your schedule. And finally, let's wrap it up with the Thibodaux Tigers. Thibodaux Tigers are now under the guidance of Lowell Narcisse. Of course, you know him as a terrific quarterback from St. James High School, went on to LSU. Actually was going to come to Nichols after a little stint at the University of Texas San Antonio, but never got on the field for Nichols. Decided he wanted to be a coach, and that's what he's doing now. Had a very successful year last year coaching for Ascension Catholic. So he is back at it. Let's take a real quick look at the schedule for the Thibodaux Tigers. They'll be taking on South Lafourche. Then they'll be taking on Lord Beacon Landry. That's the second game. LBL, that's a game I think they'll win handily. Then they have Assumption High School. That'll be a good test. Central Lafourche, and that one is at Central Lafourche. East St. John at home. Then it's Hornville. Always tough, but I think these games are split up pretty good. They'll be at H.L. Bourgeois. They'll be taking on McMain, and then they finish it off tough. They'll have Terrebonne High School and Destrehan, and that won't be easy. Again, start getting excited. It's football time in South Louisiana. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.